Okay, there we go. For a second there, I was getting a little too mesmerized with that song. Damn, if there's anybody that you can always depend on to make fantastic music over the years who has never really consistently like lost quality in their music department side of things, Glitchic City is always going to be there. Man, is that so comforting to hear some of these lo-fi songs. I was going to just let that play by the whole night and just completely ignore what we were supposed to be doing for the night. But, of course, we cannot be doing that because we have a show to run. Greetings, everybody. My name is KG Prestige, and I welcome everybody once again to another exciting session of the PokePod R. Folks, I'm not sure how things are going to look for tonight in terms of streaming and whatnot. I hope things are going to be fine and dandy. I'm noticing that the GPU or the CPU on my thing is going a little too high for me personally. It's at 17%. So I have to double check on see what's that all about. TSS has told me before in the past that I don't have to really worry about it unless it goes to 90%. But for now, it's at 20, so I think it should be fine for the CPU kind of thing. So I'm going to go and hop into the call with my buddy soon. And we're going to go and relax and chill the night away because we have a lot to talk about, folks. We have the DLC expansion pass once again to talk about because new information has dropped for it, and we have to talk about it. They also had the PS5 event happen this week too. Well, previously last week I should say. And this week we're going to be talking about it, give our impressions on the games that were revealed so far, as well as the design of the console and how the community reacted to that design, as well as discussing the recent episode of PM 2019 and also any other shenanigans that we feel like discussing. So, hope you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy the good time that we will be having for the night. Everybody here in the chat, say honk for me. You know what? I still need to figure out exactly what is our motto for, our channel and whatnot. I still have no idea what the hell to call you guys. I know you guys are like the community members, and I know a lot of people out there at least give people some sort of nickname for you guys. I still need to figure out what the heck I want to call you guys. Like, you guys deserve a title. I don't know what to call you. Anyway, yes, I'll call you guys the honks. There you go. Thank you guys. You guys will now be known as honks. I am proud of you guys. The honkers. Let me go and hop into the call real quick. All right, there we go.
Hi, KG. Hi, KG, who doesn't know the title of his own damn show.
No, I know I said the PokePod thingy, but don't worry. I know.
It is the PokePod World Podcast, and don't forget about it.
I know. 39 sessions. You'd think I forget about it, but I forgot about it.
PokePod World Podcast.
Yeah. So as we are noticing in the chat, everybody seems to be okay with calling the community the honkers. So...
No.
The mother honkers, to be exact.
No,
there we go.
no.
Are they okay calling it the
Then what's going to happen? Then what's going to happen is that everybody's going to have to listen to freaking the Hartsdale Skittles song, which is Candy Pop, about 50,000 times because it's like because it has a specific line in there. It's like
everybody's in the chat saying no way, man.
Honky asobi. Yeah, we're gonna have to listen to that.
Listen, buddy.
World Coronation.
Oh, yes, we are. Oh, well, yeah. Oh, shit. The World Coronation. Yeah, well, now we got to add that to our title of our goddamn show.
The problem is
World Coronation.
No, the biggest issue with that name is two things. One, it has the name of a certain fucking disease that we don't talk about, and two, it reminds me of fucking Coronation Street in the fucking BBC. We don't talk about that either.
Okay, here's my... I guess if we're going to just bounce around all over the place, first of all, let's introduce everybody here in the call. We have Tyrone, we have TSS, and we have our buddy JPRPT98. How you doing, pal?
Hello.
All right, so now that we got everybody here, I really want to dabble on that bit because it did spike a bit of a... Not really a controversy, but more of like a head-scratching moment for a lot of people. Because...
I want to say, when you're done, I want to say my take on it as well, too. Because I inadvertently got involved.
Good job, Tyrone. I'm curious to hear about that. But here's my take on it. The whole thing with Coronation, I would be fine with it, personally, had there been one thing changed. Had it only been in Galar, where this whole World Tournament thing was taking place.
Yeah.
The mere fact that you decide to slap that name and think about it on a global scale to where now every thing from the Pokemon world is a part of it doesn't really make it feel like it's all connected. You know, the Pokemon World Championship is literally meant to be about the whole world, not just about one particular location. Coronation sounds like it's more of a Galar theme, which I guess makes sense, but it's supposed to be taken on a more global scale, not to just a one-sided kind of thing. So yeah, that's just my take on it, though, and that's all I had to say on that.
I think you're exactly right.
Before we continue, thank you, Dill Pickle, for subscribing for 18 months, and hi, Polly.
Damn, 18 months. Thank you so much for that, buddy. And hey there, Polly. I hope your mic is actually now running good.
Is it working?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear, buddy.
Okay, good. Hello.
Now, who here wants to go and tackle on the coronation thing?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me talk about it because I saw it. The only reason I know about it is because of Lumio Trainer Zach.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that he watched the Netflix, the episodes dubbed on Netflix, which they're out now, all 12 of them.
All 12 of them.
Yeah, and a couple of things about that. So I out of curiosity, I went to go watch it, and I saw what he was talking about in the tweet is that they called it the coronation, and I don't like the name. But in my head, I knew why they called it that, at least in the idea of why they called it that. They called it that because Pokemon, they're paying attention to the marketing, which is sword and shield, the things knights carry, the thing knights use in battle. Obviously, the game is taking a lot of, like, medieval steps, even though someone also told me that obviously it's based on the UK, which I get, but they're focusing on the knights, which is the sword, shield, armor, and crown, which obviously the DLCs are coming. So when they said that, I see what they're doing is like Leon's hat looks like a crown. They're trying to crown you as the king of the competition, things like that. That's how they're viewing it. Does that make it right? Absolutely not. Like you said, KG, only if it took place in Galar, that would make sense. Because it's almost like a rite of passage towards the throne situation. But here, a Pokemon World Championships battle can happen literally anywhere on the planet. So it kind of defeats that purpose. I'm not sure why they changed the name because they kept World Tournament in Best Wishes. So I don't know why they did that. Either that or did they keep it as World Tournament in Best Wishes?
I thought it was the Don George thing. The Don George tournament?
No, they called the first two Don. They called the Club Explosion.
There was like the Junior Cup or something.
Yeah,
like that.
It was called the World Tournament Junior Cup or something like that.
Yajibe says yeah in the chat, so.
Okay, yeah, because it takes place in Driftville. So I thought like maybe they didn't want to repeat themselves and call it the World Championships twice. But no, they call it the World Tournament there. So, yeah, they kept this World Junior Cup. So, I don't know why they changed it. And I don't know. I guess they thought it was too hard to change it to, say, Pokemon World Championships. Or, here's the other theory, because I play competitive, and we've all been there once when we went to Washington. They call the actual competition Pokemon World Championships. But that has nothing to do with it because everybody in the world goes there. So you don't even have national censorship for that.
Right.
So if they call it Pokemon World Championships in Japan, and people from Japan and all over the world come to the location where Worlds is being taken place. Like, for example, Worlds took place in Washington, D.C. last time. That's why we all made it to D.C. But there were other people there from different countries that were in Worlds, so I'm not sure why they changed the name, but I know why they changed it in the sense of why they chose that name. I know why they chose the name they chose. I'm not sure why they chose to change the name. Is what I'm saying.
Why did they change something that was already in English into something else?
I don't know.
Because one hand does not wash the other at TPCI. You should know this by now.
It's like no matter what word they choose, it's like that is poisonous to us. We have to change it to whatever we personally feel.
It almost reminds me of in the Hoopa movie where they renamed Mary in the Japanese version to like Mirai or something like that. And I was like, Literally, why? It's already a Western name.
Also, you could say the same thing for movie 21.
Yeah, Lisa became Risa.
Risa,
that's how they pronounce it though in Japan.
No, it's not, because there's no declension between the L and the R.
No, but I'm saying they don't make it sound like, they don't say like Lily, they say Riri. You know what I mean? So it's like Risa.
No, Lirie. It's Lirie.
Yeah, but you hear the R is what I'm referring to, and I feel like that's what they're
that
trying.
That doesn't mean jack shit.
Oh no, I'm not saying it doesn't mean anything. I'm just saying I feel like that's their whole intention.
Traditionally, L and R are the ones.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. To me personally,
Also one comment I want to make. I've seen some mistranslations going around, especially when it pertains to the beginning of the episodes, like the whole recap with Satoshi and Go. They call Leon the Supreme Monarch Dande, which is actually a mistranslation of the word Oja. Oja could mean supreme monarch, but the secondary meaning is reigning champion. That's the fucking correct term. Why the fuck do you use supreme monarch? It's not like he's ruling the world. It's just a reigning champion. That's my 2 cents. Gets translation.
I noticed because I didn't watch a lot of the episodes dubbed. I handpicked the ones I wanted to watch. And the one I paid attention to the most was the Leon versus Lance episode, where Ash does a better... in context, Ash sounds like he knows Lance a little bit better in the dub than he does in the Japanese, where they keep it a little ambiguous. In the Japanese version, he says, "Oh, it's Lance." But he says that right as they introduce Lance, so everybody knows that's Lance at that point. In America, they actually have Ash comment on Lance's stuff a little bit more in the middle of the battle.
really?
They have him. I guess they put his name first in the comments when Ash is saying something. So instead of what he said in the Japanese version, where it's like, "Oh, he did this or he did that," he'll go, "Lance just used an ice type attack," or something like that. He'll say Lance's name a little bit more, which kind of gives off the impression that he knows him on a personal level.
Because he's calling him by his name, I guess.
Because he's calling him by his name.
Well, then to be fair, Satoshi also said Wataru.
Yeah, he did. I guess if you put it in the context in which Ash said it, it made it sound like he knew Lance personally, because most of his comments were on what Lance did. Like Lance used the water type move or something like that.
Also, wait, Wataru, didn't they add something extra to that, like Wataru's son or something like that?
Yes, because that's the honorific.
Yeah.
The other thing I paid attention to, in the episode, I'm like, what's going on? Why is this not as big of a fight as I remember it being? Like this, regardless of dub or sub, this is a good battle. Why do I get the feeling something was taken away?
Yeah, something is taken away because
crowd.
No,
well,
not
yes,
yes, as well.
Also,
well, yes, but technically no.
No. Yes, I know you're going to point out the obvious, which is the music. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the other aesthetics. And I was thinking, I'm like, why isn't the crowd chanting? This is a battle. Like it sounds dead silent.
Because that's the big difference, Tyrone.
Sorry.
The music is the crowd. That's part of the large gym leader.
They're not actually there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's so jarring.
Yeah, because I don't understand why the fuck they had to keep the Galar battle music, the wild battle music that came before the fucking thing, and then they couldn't keep the damn good gym theme, which is the best fucking theme in the damn show and one of the most iconic themes in the fucking game.
Netflix original series.
And the replacement music was like 3 pieces, and they all sound like piece of shit. That's what it sounded like.
And you want to know what the funny part is, now that you stopped to mention it also, TSS, because they use the wild battle Galar theme, but it sounds so weird when it's not followed up by the gym leader theme, because I know the episode well enough to know what order the songs were played in. And not hearing the crowd, or even in the background, not even during the downtimes where they're talking, you could still hear a in the background. But here you hear absolutely nothing. It's almost as if they're in an empty room battling, and it's kind of scary.
I imagine it's because the crowd is probably like random Japanese staffers, and they probably can't use the voice.
Yeah. It's just like I remember watching this video where they explain how how Funimation dubs some of their stuff. And they would literally have like a bunch of people, volunteers and people and part of the cast, and they would like yell if they're running away from something, or if a building's crashing, they have to pretend like they're the group of people in this town.
Yeah.
So it was that. So they didn't do that, and that makes me upset because it's like, guys, the effort that would have taken, like all you had to do was just. You could have even used a stock crowd noise. Like, it's not that hard. And just the other thing I noticed, this is just a small thing. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a thing. Kyle Hebert, the voice of Gohan, also the narrator of Dragon Ball Z, he voices the ref. That's pretty cool.
Xander Mobus, the Smash Brothers announcer, is the announcer in the dub, too, which was kind of nice, actually.
Yeah.
Granted, I didn't watch it, but yeah, I just heard it and I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I liked the Team Rocket Pokedex. That was fun.
Like, I like what they're doing with the voices, but it's like, everything else is still very hit and miss.
I like the 3-year-old toddler that points out the Pokemon. That's hilarious.
Very scary Pokemon.
Yeah, he did. What a rock type! I don't know.
Yeah, but no, I swear, I think my favorite part was like when the voice actor started. It was like I don't know.
I don't know.
That was my favorite.
I don't know
bit
why
from
it reminds me of that. Why does it remind me of that? Have you ever had a dream where you in there and it's always wanted and it?
The fucking kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it reminds me of that. I don't know why it reminds me of that.
No, it's like.
I do want to take a second, though.
The funny thing is, actually, that sound clip was also used in, I think, in a Deep House track, too.
The Pokedex is still breathe in the dub?
Well, aside from that one episode, I never really paid much attention to it.
That was like really,
I think that was like the
unsettling
only one where it didn't breathe at all. Like, you didn't hear the breathing because it was sounding like a baby from afar. But it works so well for what it was trying to accomplish. Yes, it's not like the stingy one that's in the original Japanese version, but I think this one does well with the English side dub here. To me personally, anyway, I prefer this direction that they're trying to go.
They had to do something unique since it couldn't just be like, oh, haha, that's Pikachu's voice actress doing the voice.
Exactly, and they can't really do that, in the English side.
Well, it's just too bad. It's just too bad they got the generic sounding ones for Go and Ash's decks.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed out. But I do want to take this chance, though, to talk about something real quick. We are going to shift into something here, and I want us to take a look at this glorious number here. Something that we have established for a very long time.
42.
We're shooting this thing, 142?
No. Actually, no. The problem is you got the number wrong.
No, this is the updated number now.
No, it's not.
Yeah, because the 0.7% after this whole Netflix thing, I shot an extra 0 there, because now I really don't believe this is ever going to happen, except exclusively to the movies from this point.
Power?
Might need another 0 on there if you ask me.
Put it to the 1,000th power?
And now this is go even further beyond.
0.07. It's a point. It's points. It's 7. It's 7. Okay, it's 7/1000%.
Damn.
And there you go. That is our updated number, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, this is honestly very disappointing for me personally, because I'm still liking a majority of the dub. Like, I know there are some ifs and misses here with the dub, with the voice acting side of thing. I mean, I even love that they actually brought back some of the original VAs for this series as well. I mean, for example, Nurse Joy, from what I was told, it was the original VA that did Nurse Joy from long ago who came back to do this one. And then
Lance, he was never replaced, but
Lance retained his role.
Yeah, and this is something that we ourselves were also pretty shocked at, the fact that they did that for in Japan as well, but the fact that it happened here in the US too, that's also a really nice thing. So I'm very happy that the consistency is at least trying to be there. The only issue I'm just having is, once again, something that we've complained about, the music. And at this time, it's not simply just the music, but it's also the things that come around with the music, like the noise effect of the crowd cheering. That's not present in some things that should be there. You make a giant arena that's supposed to be filled to the brim with hundreds of roaring crowds cheering on for the fights, into now a desolate wasteland of just these polygon models that are just scattered around the arena that don't do anything. They're just simply staring, and that's it. It's a silent arena, and it's so disappointing to see something like that, so that's just my take on it. And I don't know, man, but it really does hurt to see that kind of thing happen. And I don't know if we'll ever get the opportunity to see the dub truly shine with all of the music intact, because the fact that I still see credited in the music composition by Yuki Hayashi,
where episode 11, by the way, had 0 tracks.
Yes, that's the thing that shocked me the most. There was actually an episode with no tracks from the original.
I think also episode 4 had 0.
It is.
It was at least two episodes in this one.
They had the gall to say that this is Hayashi's score right here, man. Jeez. That's what disappoints me a lot. So.
Yeah, well, you know what we should do? We should probably write. We should probably write letters to TPCI and tell them,
thought it was bad,
stop lying with your credits, because when you only have anywhere between 0 and 4 pieces of his music, that's a problem. That's false advertising.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I just wanted to say on that bit right there.
We thought it was bad in the last Sun and Moon episode, where the only thing kept was just the little school bell.
Oh, God.
And they still said music by Senji Miyazaki.
Yeah, music by Senji Miyazaki.
Ain't that a disappointment, man?
Yeah, Ep 4 kept 1 track, but I know that there was another one that kept 0, because I look on the thing.
Are we writing up a letter? Nah, we don't do it. Dear TPCI, just stop it. Lol.
Stop it. Get some help.
All right. So, yeah, that's our take on that. We have a lot to discuss for tonight, and I don't know if anybody else here wants to take a jab at the dub. I don't know if anybody's here seen it. Polly, have you seen the dub yet, or have avoided it?
I've skimmed. I've pretty much avoided it. I just can't. It's nothing against the voice actors.
I'd like the plague.
Yeah, and it's funny because Megan, is it Hollingshead?
Yes.
She's one of my favorite voice actors because she voiced Cassidy. She was the original voice of Cassidy.
Oh.
Yeah, Cassidy's had 3 voices, and she was replaced again in the Chronicles. But obviously, well, we know. I don't want to get too much before we talk about this Team Rocket episode. But
I was kind of surprised you here. But now that I remembered that we have a Team Rocket episode, I'm curious about your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, that was going to be a disappointment. It's this one's back, but I know that they're not going to be voicing, that character. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm glad she's back for Nurse Joy. But what I noticed, I think somebody said this in the comments. I don't remember who.
I'll go scroll up. But was it about Joy's voice?
It was a little bit different. I know.
Yeah, well, time's passed,
which is fine. Yeah,
the direction has changed probably.
Well, it's not like that. You gotta.
Yeah, Tarink Namdi. I'm sorry if I butchered that name, but that's what I see here in the chat. Was the one that brought it up.
Okay.
I like Felipe's comments here where he says TPCI do less work. I always think it's funny how we like the dub more when they rush an episode out. Think the previews. Where it's they had some lip flap errors and they had some other things that were wrong, but the episodes were full of original music. We're this is great, this is fine.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes of Pokemon XY.
Yeah, we were this is
because
awesome.
Those are the preview episodes. Those aren't the
more
official
time
episodes.
Spent working on it, and the less rushed it is, the worse it is. It's completely backwards.
Sometimes
rush your episode, guys. Clearly, I want the next 12 episodes in next week.
I gotta say this, what I do I like some of the characters' voices. Sakuragi's is great. I know he's named Cerise or whatever, but I call him Sakuragi. It's just
Ray Chase is just an awesome voice actor in general.
Yeah, his voice is great. Koharu's voice is great. I haven't really heard the two scientists again. I gotta listen to them.
The female one sounds kind of quiet this time around.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going for too, based
because of the way I guess she looks. She looks like she would be the kind of character to be quiet.
She looks like she would be a more quiet type. So yeah, I like the voice actors. Sarah, weirdly, I've seen her do better in Sun and Moon. Does that make any sense?
No, TSS has brought this up before, where he stated that he didn't like the direction.
The whole score bunny and freaking light pole scene.
Oh no,
that was the worst performance she gave since No Snorlax.
Yeah, she did better in Sun and Moon, which was weird because I didn't watch a lot of Sun and Moon, but the Sun and Moon I did watch.
No. It's like, oh no. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? Like,
son of a bitch.
I was just waiting for that, basically. Just be like, shit.
For me, it'll be less about the voices and always about the delivery at this point. It's even Diamond and Pearl and Best Wishes were more, I got that right. More bearable to watch because, like, Paul, like, calling Ash, like, he's lame-os, and like just stuff like that was more entertaining rather than everyone constantly being nice to each other.
Yeah, well, that's been my problem since Diamond and Pearl. Like Diamond and Pearl does the campy stuff. It was the start of the campy stuff where like I remember there's a scene where Ash is thinking about where Dawn and Brock are, and he visualizes Dawn being wrapped up by an onyx, and she goes, "No need to worry," and Ash goes, "That's when I worry the most. Come on, Pikachu, we gotta find them." And I'm like, if that were Veronica.
Y'all talking about Diamond and Pearl's dub, and then me seeing TSS's thing reminds me of when Sho calls Ash a noob, and then Ash is like, "Hey, I'm not a noob," and I was like,
noob.
I just had to show this off in the chat real quick.
Veronica,
Ash, the other characters were great.
English.
Like, Georgia and Burgundy.
He'd be like, "Who you calling noob?" Like he'd be ready to fight this motherfucker.
Like Georgia and Burgundy were so entertaining in the dub. Like I could watch them either. That's why I watch Best Wishes and both for the music and
you can alternate between dub and sub.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I like the theme song. Obviously, the opening theme is the best thing to come out of the dub. Like, oh god,
people are already making covers of it right now as we speak.
I think Nate Wants to Battle. I think did one. I think.
I'm not sure who has done it. Somebody made a metal cover of it, which I was surprised with.
Yes, it is a whole bop. Like that song is amazing.
I'm so glad the community is also viewing it as a positive thing too, because that's great.
They're even acknowledging it on Twitter. Like you can see them reposting it, and I was like, "Yes, this song is a whole come through."
I feel sorry for you, Filippo. You didn't deserve that copyright strike for uploading it, though. But still, though, nonetheless, I appreciate you going out of your way for trying to do that. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to listen to the full song, once again, support the official release. It's available via streaming platforms and on whatever music platform you possibly use, that is WorldStream. So, yeah. iTunes, Spotify, probably. YouTube itself. It does have the track there, so... But yeah, so once again, amazing track. Absolutely love it. Can't wait to see more from it. Just kind of curious to see what's next for the series now with part 2 of the dub. And it's going to be an interesting time to see until then, but I guess we'll just have to wait. But for now, for first impressions, it's mixed for me. Not for the voice acting side of things, because I think maybe like 1 or 2 are
if they got to get rid of the fucking farty synth and the random shit that's going around. I mean, like I said, I'm sorry, but the Dynamax battle music for the three pieces they had was absolutely garbage.
Okay,
they should be ashamed of themselves.
I do want to take this opportunity.
The Dynamax theme in the game, or not even the game, but like in the anime, like in the Japanese version, it's like when there's a Dynamax, the gym theme plays, and it just.
They're different remixes. They're different remixes too.
Yeah, they're not just one variation. There's multiple variations for the song. So, which I believe the one that they played in the Lance versus Leon fight was, I believe, like the 3rd variation of the 4 tracks that are available for that in the game. Not sure, to be quite honest, on that part.
I thought they were like cycling through like all 3 versions.
No,
Like,
it was using the second to third to then fourth. The first one was used in the episode that comes after that one during the Pikachu versus Dreadnought fight. That's where they used the first variation, the one that I personally liked. But yeah, so we'll see how things go for the future of PM 2019, or specifically Pokemon Journeys, the dub. But that isn't going to be the only thing we're going to be talking about for Pokemon in Galar and stuff, because I do want us to take an opportunity to talk about the video games for a bit. I hope you guys do not mind that, because in case you aren't aware, the Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield DLC expansion pass is actually coming out relatively soon. Like,
coming out in 2 days.
So, ladies and gentlemen, 2 things to kind of note. For starters, make sure you're actually buying the right expansion pass, because I'm hearing a lot of people complain about that, even though I know that's probably just bait. But just to be, to make sure everybody gets it correct. If you have Pokemon Sword, buy the Sword expansion pass. If you have the Shield, buy Shield's expansion pass. So
basically, double check that if you can read first, and then you can do it.
Exactly. Now there are a lot of interesting details here that really surprised me.
Or you could be like me and buy the twin packs, and now you have both.
Do you?
Yeah, I've Sword and Shield, so no matter what pack I get, I got it.
No, you have to buy the Sword expansion pass separately for the Shield expansion pass. They're not going to count. They're not going to transfer over, buddy.
That was a pause. I like that.
What?
What?
You gotta spend $60.
You gotta spend $60 for the thing. Just because you got the dual pack doesn't mean you get all the things with you.
No, not that. I mean, I knew that already. You had me scared for a second. No, I bought the $30 for a Shield, but it doesn't matter if I bought it for the Shield game or the Sword game, because I have both games.
Okay, now see, the way you worded it made it feel like as if you bought a 2 for 2 or some shit like that.
You made me overthink that for a second.
I was so scared, Tyrone. I was so scared because I thought you were one of those people who rushed.
I thought for a second you meant the Island and Crown DLCs are separate. I'm like, hold on, no, they're not. They're together, and you got to buy them by the game that you have. Now, people probably bought Sword when they have the game Shield. I'm saying it doesn't matter what I do because I have both games.
Yeah,
I almost went out and bought $30 Isle of Armor for Sword, $30 Isle of Armor for Shield,
and then had to do another.
Exactly.
No, that's what Activision would do.
Yeah, but thankfully we're not EA or / Activision, so. Yeah.
Okay, so comic cartoons 237 asks, which Urshifu do you guys want?
The one that matches my game. So
the
Shield
one.
is red.
The blue one? Okay, the blue one I think is the multi-hit one, and I think the red one's the single hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want the blue one.
I think water types are just better anyway, but
Water types
Hell
deserve
yeah, they
more.
are.
Although, one thing to note about this Urshifu, it is busted from what I was told from its ability, where it could just pierce through, I think, like, protect and stuff.
Yeah. And
Hello?
KG, you told some very great news today. News that almost made me cry.
Exactly. So this is what I want us to discuss for a little bit. In case if you guys aren't aware, we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the information we know so far regarding the upcoming DLC pack expansion part 1, because this focuses on the Isle of Armor. And there are some interesting deets in this info that we got, which is insane as to what we've discovered so far. So, somebody actually went to ask one of the Nintendo product marketing specialists, known as Demetrius Boggs, if this meant that potential level scaling was in place of Pokemon Sword and Shield's expansion pass, because when they played the 30-minute preview, they noticed that all the Pokemon that they had in that preview were around level 60, the same as the highest level Pokemon that's in the trainer's party. So, with that being said, Boggs actually did confirm that Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield's expansion pass areas, trainers, and wild Pokemon will in fact scale with your own Pokemon levels. Specifically, Boggs confirmed the DLC areas would also even scale to match a team of level 100 Pokemon. Not only that, but these areas can be accessed as soon as you reach the wild area of Pokemon Sword and Shield, just a few hours into the game. So whether you just started or have already completed every post-game activity and have a full party of level 100 Pokemon, both parts of the expansion pass, the Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra, will match your Pokemon's level.
Let's go.
This just made this game go from level like 50 to 100 for me personally in terms of hype.
Exactly why I'm so happy about
Please, Tyrone,
this.
I know you're the more competitive side of the
know how crazy it's been trying to get to this like progress of level scaling with Pokemon. Pokemon is like the only game I know that doesn't do this, where like if your Pokemon are at a high level, it's like the game doesn't know how to handle what would happen if you overtrained your Pokemon. Whereas, like, in Final Fantasy VIII, they level scale.
Which is very, very easy to do in Sword and Shield, by the way.
Exactly. In Final Fantasy VIII, I'm just using this as an example. All the monsters that you encounter in the area, I guess in the wild area, in their situation, which would just be the overworld, the overworld hub. Every monster there scales itself to Squall. Why specifically Squall? Because he's the main character. He's in the most fights. He gets the most XP. He's usually has the highest level in the game because he's required to be on your team no matter what. There's only a few instances where he's not on your team. So all the monsters scale themselves upwards. So if Squall's weak, the monsters are weak. If Squall's strong, the monsters get stronger. Pokemon has not done this in so long, but they tried to do little things. Like I know 2 games in particular tried to like match you. One of them is 3 actually. Black and White 2, and Pokemon Crystal. Pokemon Crystal. Yeah, well, what Pokemon Crystal does, obviously, if you go, because there's a whole another section.
Okay.
What Pokemon Crystal does is, in Kanto, all the Pokemon trainers levels to their Pokemon are just dramatically higher to match with the idea that you've already beaten the league. Because the game knows that in order to get here, you need to beat the league anyway, and it'd be stupid to make you fight a bunch of level 20 Pokemon after you already didn't beat the league. It'd be tedious. So the NPCs there have Pokemon at least at levels 40 to 60. With Red being the highest, obviously, with Pikachu being at like damn near level 80, almost level 100 in the remakes. Black and White. Yeah, Black and White. When you beat the first half, when you beat the main game of Black, and you get to travel to the other side of Unova, the level spikes. Like wild Pokemon are at level 60. And I am not exaggerating. They're at like level 60. Oh, yeah. And the problem with that was that it became a difficulty spike. So now you had to grind off of the weakest wild Pokemon to be strong enough to fight like the average trainer. I mean, it was great for a challenge, but it was a pain in the ass trying to figure that out. So they thought they would counter it in Gen 6 by just making everything piss easy. That's why we got, like John in your video, that's why we got AIs with fucking 2-year-old intelligence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
With the intelligence of a broomstick, as you quoted it.
It's funny because people remember my quotes more than I remember my own. People are like, do you remember this thing you said in your video? I'm like, no, I really don't.
Nah. But so it's so good to finally see that if you have level 100 Pokemon, let's say you got all your Pokemon's EVs set up, and you've IV trained them and EV trained them. Now all you need to do is go to the area and train off of those Pokemon that scale themselves to yours. And if they scale to 100, you still get the experience points off of it if you use a different Pokemon as your lead Pokemon in the party. And now they've got experience as if they beat a level 100, which is way higher. So that, oh my God, like it's so much better now. And you'll actually get some challenging like trainers now.
And wild encounters. I mean, now I gotta find level 100s of Ruas in the goddamn wild. Catching these bastards are not gonna be easy no more.
Now that you mention it, I believe Blissey is in this too, so you can do like there's like a good EXP like grinding XP.
Oh no, Gigantamax Blissey or Dynamax Blissey. 7 shield like Shuckle.
Yes. I'm just saying.
My only wish with this is that I wish they'd like patch it into the main game too, because I thought like, oh, how are they going to make this work? Because they said you can basically go there regardless of whether you've beaten the main story or not. And I was like, oh, how is that going to be for the people who haven't beaten the game? But the level scaling is a great step in the right direction. And like I said, I wish they'd put it in the original game because I feel like that was probably an idea at some point. Like you look at the wild area and you look at the way the gyms are laid out, and you're like, it feels like Galar was already designed for this, but they just didn't have time for it or something.
When you beat the main story, what the game does is that it just bumps all the wild Pokemon up to level 60.
They level them up like by 5 every time you beat a gym or something.
At that point, the game assumes that since you beat,
it's like they were like half trying with the wild area and whatnot.
Yeah, so now, but you also run into awkward moments where he's like, you run into an Oddish at level 60 and shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But
these little bastards aren't messing around this time around.
I think what's most exciting about this is because they are definitely committing to like this wild area-esque type of thing for the future. Because like these areas are entirely open world, both the Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor.
Yeah, they're not.
Everything is all built about that.
So they're really committing to the open world idea, and then on top of that, you have level scaling now. And I'm really excited to see how that is in like Gen 9 going forward. To see if they'll finally give us this game where you can just kind of go anywhere. Because again, Sword and Shield could have been
we need Pokemon Skyrim edition or Skyrim Pokemon edition, whatever.
Because like Sword and Shield, they deliberately kind of reduced the plot, and I thought like, oh well, if they reduced the plot and there's like nothing for you to do on these routes and stuff, that that again, it would have been the perfect opportunity to implement this kind of thing. But I guess they just ran out of time. They had to put in the DLC instead. So Sword and Shield, it would have been the perfect games for it. So it's a little sad, but
maybe this is their way of trying to like. Because it's always like this with, they always try making a previous game as like the beta for what their real intentions are with the next game.
Yeah. And this is like one scenario where I feel like...
There it is again.
I know it's pushing it. But like, I guess this will probably be like John said for future games. I want a situation where like, now, if they could do the level scaling properly, you can challenge any gym you want. But I want it so that when you beat a certain gym in a certain place, in a certain order, it changes the way the game goes. Mm-hmm. Say, for example...
So you don't want a linearity kind of story no more?
Yeah, I know it's pushing it. I know.
That's basically asking for like Breath of the Wild, buddy.
Yeah, I know it's pushing it for Pokemon. Because like, say, for example, you beat the Rock-type gym leader. And like, let's say you tried to go to some hidden area or make them optional. Let's say you tried to go to some hidden area, but you can't go there. The reason you can't is because there's an avalanche that blocked the rocks in this one area. But you beat the rock gym leader. And when you beat him, he's like, oh, there's a thing. Yeah, I'll get it out the way with my rock type Pokemon. It's the least I can do for giving me a great battle. And then you can go in that area and it's like all these cool Pokemon that you couldn't catch in other situations. And you got to do it anyway because you got to get the 8 badges. So it'll get done. Just when it gets done is up to you.
You know what I also would like with that too? It's like the Pokemon that are in there, of course, are going to be tougher, but I also would love for it to like scale with the Pokemon you've already previously encountered, but also be like, okay, now that this area is open, the Pokemon that were in that area are walking into the previous area, so now it's starting to feel more like a connected location that's starting to open up and branch out.
Now that I've moved the Avalanche, these Pokemon are accessible in this area now.
And now they're coming to the previous area to mix in with the old Pokemon you've encountered.
It's almost like your actions are building the world of Pokemon.
Exactly. Cool. Because it's a Pokemon world. You want to be in the Pokemon world. And I know this is still far into the future because right now, this is Pokemon's very first attempt at a full-fledged, high-definition world scaling like what we're witnessing right now with Sword and Shield,
And not even just with gyms. I kind of wish they had, like, things where like, okay, let's say the evil team, you find an evil team member and he's optional to fight because he's like, I don't know, you found him up to something like robbing somebody or something and you battle him and beat him and it turns out he's like the merchant to a store or something. So now every time you buy stuff, it costs less.
Okay, so yeah, basically your actions dictate how the series or how the game.
And to be completely honest, I wouldn't even mind if they just ditched like the whole like story and evil team and all that in favor of giving us like one of these truly open world games where you can just where all the focus is on exploring.
If a story does come out, it's an optional story that you decided to go to rather than a story that had to be part of it. Because then everybody's experience is the same. It's like, oh, you ran into the evil boss because he tried to take over the legendary. Yeah, how do you know? Because I did it too. It's required. Whereas, like, you could go, oh yeah, I fought like this guy, and he's like, what? Who's that guy? And he's like, oh, you find this guy when you beat this gym leader and head to this area or something.
Well, Ebo here's saying that it would be boring if there were no story, and it's like, well,
it's not about the main.
Sword and Shield already didn't have a story to begin.
No. Here's my solution to that. Instead of building the story, this is the perfect opportunity to build the characters, because the characters are the story. This is what they were trying to do with Sword and Shield. But let's take it up a notch.
I'd say you do it like Sword and Shield, where you develop the gym trainers more, or like the challengers, and it's like the story is the league and the gyms and everything.
And it's about the build up to the end.
To be honest, Pokemon stories, even the very best ones like Black and White, like they aren't good enough to warrant me like losing all the exploration for them. Like I would rather have the exploration.
And if you still want the story, I believe I want them to be optional stories that you find when you go to certain places. Like I remember you got to do that thing with Shauna. I know it's part of the story and it's mandatory, but you know that thing in Shauna and X and Y where you got to travel through the maze. And afterwards, you guys look at fireworks and stuff, and it's a cutscene that's completely pointless towards your journey, but it's there. And I want moments where, like, if you made the option of veer off and go to like this path, then you're introduced to stuff like that. You're introduced to those type of adventures. So if you still want the story, you can have a story. It's just got to be an optional, smaller story. And then you can go out of your way to do the little stories, and you get little rewards for them. So now the story is your choice to make.
You know what would make things even better, to be honest? Just so that every route for every person who gets the game has a different experience. Let's say if when you start off the game, there are like 3 paths that branch out. One that goes north, the other that goes east, and then another that goes west. Each individual location will bring you to a different spot, but it'll also introduce a different rival, and say depending on which one you meet first will be the main rival that will be developed more in the storyline, whereas all the other 2 that are in different paths, you can encounter them too, but they're going to be separate rivals. They're going to be like they're not going to be the main rivals. They're going to be like optional rivals that you could build their story up as you progress along. Whereas the first one you encounter is somebody that you'll meet progressively through the game itself as you slowly approach the league. You know,
and Pokemon actually has played with the idea of your actions taking effect into the game before. Like Pokemon Yellow, weirdly enough, does this. If you beat Gary the first time, the second time, and the third time that you have to battle him, the first 3 times you have to battle him, then he has Jolteon on his team. The reason being is because the game has adjusted itself to go, oh, this trainer is pretty tough. We need to match him. It was their way of trying to, it wasn't level scaling, but it was their way of trying to make the game harder to keep up with you. If you lose to Gary all 3 times, then then he'll evolve Eevee into Vaporeon. The game's going, okay, he's having a hard time. Let's make it a little bit easier for him. And if you beat him like the first 2 times and lose 1 time, or I think you win 1 and lose 1, it'll evolve it into Flareon as a neutral mode.
There's a better built-in difficulty setting in a 20-year-old game than in the current Pokemon games.
And now it will be fixed, hopefully, in this upcoming DLC patch.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, though. And like, so it's not even like we're asking for anything that's impossible. We're asking simply for them to explore the realm of possibility, choice, and potential, rather than the lackluster story and piss poor difficulty they've been giving us for the past.
And I think level scaling is a good starting point. It'd be interesting to see if they also went with like different moves and abilities and also stuff, because like that's kind of like what happened in the Black 2 White 2 challenge mode, where it's like, you know, they didn't just add Pokemon, but they also like changed the movesets of the existing ones. And it's like, I'd like to see something along those lines, where they just kind of make everything...
where like depending on how rough it gets for you, the moves will become easily accessible. like the early game. Whereas with the other one, the more tough you or the more battles you accomplish, the more it'll be hard for you to get the tougher moves for you to go through or something. You know,
the only Pokemon game that also did it was Black and White.
Wasn't the hard mode.
Well, no, not that. Not just the keys. I'm talking about at the very beginning of the game. They make an attempt to do this. If you choose your starter Pokemon, Tepig, Snivy, Oshawott, one of them, obviously the gym leader is going to use your weakness based on your choice. So your choice kind of veers about which gym leader you fight. But the game also does another thing where if you choose Oshawott per se, obviously you're going to fight Silent. But outside of the Dream Yard, the trainer is carrying the Pokemon needed to help make that situation easier. So if you're carrying Oshawott, then the trainer that's in the Dream Yard is carrying Pansear. Reason being, and he's optional. You don't have to get Pansear from that trainer if you don't want to. That you can make the choice to get that Pokemon. If you get Pansear, then obviously you'll have an easier time fighting Silent. Yeah. Because the game is encouraging you to explore the Dream Yard and talk to everybody. So yeah, the Pokemon Black and White are the only other games I can think of that's done stuff like that, where your actions inadvertently make out the gameplay.
I think that's a nice way of like rewarding you for exploration without making it like horrible. Because like in Sword and Shield, it's like
you see yelling at you, going, "Go to the Dream Yard and get your fucking." Yeah.
Like you can explore the wild area in Sword and Shield, but like. I think the rewards are like a little too over the top. Like you can do a few raids, you get EXP candies, you're 10 levels over leveled, or you pick up just a few things, you can sell them all, and suddenly you have like $500,000 Poké Dollars before like the first gym.
And then you have all these ingredients to make curry, and the minute you make, you come out.
God, that's the other thing. It's like, can I just be able to use these cool little features like Pokemon and Me and Pokemon Refresh and Pokemon Camp? Because these are all really cool and I want to pet my Pokemon and be a good trainer, but I don't want to make the game like absurdly
easy.
Yeah, like my Pokemon is like, I'm gonna squeeze the poison out of my body so you don't lose.
Extract the poison, extract the paralysis.
I just want to pet my Pokemon without ruining the game experience.
I just want to pet Pikachu. Turns out the minute I pet him, he became a god.
He became the Lord. Lord Magikarp, indeed.
Man, this is what Ash has been doing this whole time. He just pets the Pikachu. And
yeah, he was 100 steps ahead of us all the time, man. Mm-hmm. Jesus Christ. That Pikachu was destructible at some points. But yeah, so I'm just excited for this. This is really a right direction for the series, to me. Yeah, and I'm very happy that they're doing this via the DLC, because this is a way for them to get feedback to see what people like and dislike from this pack and witness what could be used for the next generation series. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they have in store, because I feel like the wild area was something they've always wanted to do on a much grander scale. And I feel with this expansion pass, it's like we can indeed make a full-fledged Pokemon game to be just this, the wild area. But to how far they intend to take that, though, is something that I'm excited to see be touched upon within the future of the Pokemon franchise, whether in Generation 9 or in Generation 10, you know. But for now, for what we're getting, I'm looking forward to it. I've never thought I'd see a challenging mode happen because of how I'm deciding to take this approach, you know. This is insane to me personally, and I'm looking forward to that. But anything else you guys want to add to that, or should we go and move on into the next discussion?
Let's go.
I think we got everything. I know because I heard Polly in the chat. I know you're excited for this DLC for one specific.
I have nothing of substance to add. You're
just happy about the world,
right, guys. She's excited that Cub Fu is coming to What's Polly World?
No. That just got freaking bossed.
Yeah, exactly. It does in every single medium in this franchise: the anime, the manga, and the games.
Hey, you know what? At least it's showing up. Polyworld is visible. You get to see it. You get to catch it. Literally, that'll be the first Pokemon she catches.
It's lost its dignity. It used to be the mascot, and now it's been demoted.
It's become the punching bag.
Right there.
Polly's gonna mod the game somehow. You know how you gotta do the story mode with Kung Fu? She's gonna be doing it with Polyworld.
I'm just glad it's back, and I'm really excited because now I can finally, since finding shinies are easiest I think in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. If I find one now, I can finally get my shiny Politoed.
Yeah, or you can even find a shiny Politoed in the wild as well, because they have wild Politoads in the wild area.
Yeah, they're just out there.
Oh, true.
So you might be lucky. You can find one like that, or you can find one in the raid areas. You never know. It's all possible.
Yeah.
It's nice to see how many fully evolved Pokemon there are just walking around.
Yeah.
Well, so wait a minute. If this was level scale, does that mean you can actually get a level 5 Politoed?
It's possible.
You know, or maybe they don't appear.
I think you have to beat the main game in order to have access to that area, probably.
They're going to be too high level to where you can't beat them. No, they're level scale though. So how would that work?
Well, wait, because originally in the wild area, you could meet Pokemon that were way higher level than you were.
Yeah, but the level scaling wasn't applied there. The level scaling is applied to the DLC lands.
Yeah, but I don't think it scales down. I think it scales up. I think there's a base level because in Sergi,
no, because they state when you get to the wild area.
They said the first trainer they encountered was at level 60.
But their Pokemon were level 60 too.
I don't know. So,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think level scaling could also apply because they stated that when you get access to the wild area, then you can immediately go to the DLC land. And this is before I believe you get your first badge.
Yeah.
One thing I'm excited to try is that one Pokemon on my team is like level 70 and the rest are like level 62. And I'm wondering, will it scale to like level 70 or like will it scale to like
70.
An average of the team?
The highest amount.
The strongest Pokemon.
Okay. Because like then it would like actually be like kind of a challenge.
Yeah, it takes the strongest Pokemon.
70. All right, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So literally, if I approached it with my level 100 team right now, I'd just be fighting Pokemon on par with mine. With less IVs, but you know. So yeah, that's good. And then I'm actually kind of excited for what we just saw. I'm sorry for Venusaur and Blastoise too. Will they make you choose one of the two, or do you just get both?
One of the two, I assume.
Damn it! That means I gotta pick Bulbasaur by default.
We'll see though. We'll see when we get to the game itself. But yeah, let's take a quick second though to talk about something before we actually get to the main topic for the night, of course, being this week's episode of PM 2019. Let us take a second because this was, I should say, something that they had a big direct, I guess you could call it, for. And that is none other for the recently announced PS5. Coming later this year. We actually do not know the price tag for this thing. All we know is that this thing has been memed to death, and it is actually insane.
Yeah, the PS5, for the Cliff Notes version of it, the PS5 conference was basically 18 minutes of some jackass freaking playing around with Blender.
And then actual games. Which, by the way, those games that were revealed, when the hell are they coming out? Some you know. Some holiday 2020. Others, who the hell knows? But like they have gameplay for it, so that's cool.
Like Gran Turismo 7, we don't know when the fuck that's
that
coming
should have been a launch date game. I don't know why that isn't. That okay, look.
And again, let's just put this into perspective, all right? PS3, right? They got fucking Gran Turismo 5 Prologue, and then the real Gran Turismo 5 came out in fucking 2009? 3 years after the fucking console came out.
Yes, but there are good quality games that are revealed in this event. I mean, they had Ratchet and Clank, which looks great, and they already are waifuing a particular female character from that one. They have Gran Turismo, as TSS stated, Resident Evil 8, otherwise known as Village, which is a multiplat kind of, I think it's a multiplat, isn't it? So it's probably going to come for the Xbox, PC, etc. So there's that. There's Spider-Man Miles Morales, which we have little to no idea as to what the hell it is, because some are calling it an expansion, some are calling it a standalone game, some are calling it something else. It's not like a full-fledged sequel, but you know what that might be? It kind of might be like the Torna to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I think that's what Miles Morales is probably being designed as. As like, it isn't necessarily a full-on sequel, but it does expand upon what was already established within the Spider-Man game that released a few years back, which would explain why this came out pretty quickly after had only just been released 2 years ago. So.
And also the other title that is a complete disservice why the fuck do we have another GTA 5 game?
Yeah, it's not even a sequel or an expansion or anything. No, it's just straight up, we're just bringing GTA 5 to the next generation console. And you get money for it, too. Yeah.
It's like, it's a fucking, what is it? It's like a...
It's over 8 years old, I would say, at this point.
It's an 8-year-old game. That's like, I would say Rockstar has done more of a disservice to GTA 5 than freaking Skyrim.
Also, back in the day, Rockstar would pump out other quality games. You know, like they would have San Andreas, they would have GTA 3, 4, and all of that in between with each other. Whereas here, it's just been GTA 5 from beginning to end for these past couple of years.
It was on the generation before that. So, I mean, now we're going to have GTA 5 in 3 freaking console generations.
That's correct.
The fuck?
And it's still not on the Switch, to be honest.
Unfortunately.
I mean, well, I can't say anything because the Switch has no problem. The Switch isn't the Wii in the...
They got The Witcher 3 running on the Switch, man. They could get GTA.
The biggest problem is
we're talking about... Give a damn.
The problem is we're talking about a NVIDIA TX1, the Jetson platform, which is fucking old now, and that's the biggest thing. When you're talking about ARM CPUs versus x86 stuff, you know, you have to make some compromises, but I mean, we don't know if there's going to be a more powerful Switch coming along.
The Switch 2.
Or whatever. I mean, like something that the generational yeah, something that can maybe like a stronger ARM CPU that can and graphics that can handle higher resolutions and higher frame rates.
Yeah.
While still being compatible with the old stuff, just like on Android where you can run, you know, Pokemon Masters on a 2 GB RAM phone and like a crappy freaking a MediaTek chip versus running it on like a fucking Snapdragon 865.
I mean, the best part about the Switch to me isn't even like, oh, the Switch has all this power to. The main thing I like about the Switch usually is like just the availability of games, how fun it is, the IPs, and like just the portability of it, the convenience. Because Nintendo has always been, to me, at least to me, this is my opinion, they've always thought about the player. They think about the player first, and then they build the system and game and everything around that. While they've had some stinkers, obviously, but
like in the previous generation.
Yeah, but they usually make it under the mindset of someone's convenience. Like, you know, they make the Wii for those who want to be more interactive with the video games. Did it work all the time? But you know, then they make the Switch. They make the Switch for those who want to play the game while on TV, but then still take their experience on the go because we're getting older. We're starting to go places. We want to, you know, still be able to play like the console games, but somewhere else. And on top of that, they just make stuff that's fun. Like PlayStation and Xbox. I'm a PlayStation player, but I see this war happening between PlayStation and Xbox, and in my head, they always do this. They always compare stats, which is nice, but I didn't play the game for the statistics. I played it for what is on it. What can I play on it that I'm going to have fun playing? Because I can tell you right now, Mario isn't as graphically realistic as fucking, I don't know, let me think of a game. It's not as graphically realistic as Detroit becoming human or something.
Right, but the problem is the definition of video game real life is freaking all browns and shit. Like
I play games to escape reality. So when I play a Nintendo game, usually it feels like I'm having fun because I'm in a world that is made completely of fiction.
Yes,
and it's made around the mindset of the player wanting the player to have fun, whereas Xbox and PlayStation keep caring about like how much power they got, how much memory they can store. All that stuff is great, until you find out that barely anything's on it that catches your attention. Now, I will say PlayStation has some here and there. They have some IPs here and there and everything like that. But Xbox keeps saying like, oh, our Xbox Series X has this many terabytes and can run this type of graphics. And yeah, that's great. But what am I doing it on? What's the point if I can't do anything?
Well, technically you can because, well, that means we're going to get 4K 60 FPS games, which most people wanted to instead of fucking 4K with checkerboard.
Do I want to play? Like, that's the problem. Like, Mario, like I said,
HDR.
Like I said, Nintendo, I can name 5 series from Nintendo that I would play in a heartbeat. Recently Sonic, because obviously Sonic is a part of the Nintendo family, unfortunately now. But unfortunately / fortunately. Sonic, Mario, you got Sonic, Mario, Legend of Zelda, you've got Pokemon, you've got freaking Fire Emblem. That's 5 right there. I can name 5 IPs off the top of my head. Name 5 IPs from Xbox.
That's easy.
Halo,
Banjo-Kazooie,
Gears of War,
Bad Thursday, but unfortunately,
Gears of War,
the Battletoads.
What were those all on originally? Because you can play Battletoads on Super Nintendo, can't you?
Yes,
Halo?
Battletoads was Super
Halo.
Nintendo. Banjo-Kazooie was originally on the
Nintendo 64. Conker's Bad Fur Day was on Nintendo 64.
So
Halo?
I guess if I was to eliminate those, Sea of Thieves, Halo, Forza,
and Halo.
Gears of War.
Gears of War.
You guys are forgetting Halo, by the way.
No, I said Halo.
No, that's the joke.
And Halo. Halo Horizons.
I got it. Halo.
Yeah, that one. Thank you, John. Jesus fucking Christ.
I'm sorry, man. I'm not an Xbox fanboy. What do you want me to say to this?
My point is, like, just there's more of a reason for me to go to Nintendo stuff, even though they're not as powerful as the other 2 consoles. So I guess that's why that's how I've always looked at it. But now, if you wanted me to choose between Xbox and PlayStation, I'll pick PlayStation just because, PlayStation to me is better.
Ty saying here, who actually played Forza KG? Well, Tyrone stated about franchises, not about who's playing the game.
Right.
So if they do like a Microsoft Smash Brothers, they're going to have like a car and Master Chief.
And Conquer.
Or Master Chief in said car, yeah.
And then they're going to try to get third-party characters, which ultimately they fail in getting, and then suddenly they get shifted into Smash Brothers instead, like what they did with Cloud. Cloud and Snake. Remember, those were originally supposed to be in PlayStation All-Stars, but then Smash was like, nah, we got them, boys.
Hell, even PlayStation has Kratos, Ratchet and Clank, Spyro, Crash.
No, they don't have Spyro. Spyro's no longer there.
Oh, yeah, well, they have Crash, sorry.
Like, if we're talking about IPs that they own now, it's Horizon, God of War, Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, and I guess Gran Turismo.
Rapper and Spider-Man. Well, the Spider-Man games.
Spider-Man is a Marvel-owned thing, so
yeah. I'm saying like obviously if you want to play that Spider-Man game, the one for the PS4 and the one that's coming out for the PS5, Miles Morales, it's only on PlayStation. You can only play
Spider-Man's coming to Smash. You heard it here first.
Yeah,
Spider-Man originally a video game character. Yes.
Yeah, Uncharted is another one with Nathan Drake.
Yeah. All right, then. So, overall, video games are a thing. Yeah. Get a PC, everybody. You'll get more bang for your buck with that one.
Yeah, get a PC.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
And a Switch. Because at least you'll get Nintendo's IP with the Switch, and then you'll get every third-party thing on the PC.
Be like me.
Most of the time. Be like Tyrone, who built his PC. Which, by the way, congrats, buddy, on that. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we need to start seeing that shit pump out for parts and videos.
Weird transition into our next topic. It's actually so weird to watch. This is the first Pocket Monsters. We can just call it Pokemon Journeys now. This is the first Pokemon Journeys episode I watched on the computer. So I'm watching on a huge monitor now versus the laptop. And Jesus Christ, it looks so much better.
Yeah. Somebody. Oh, wait. Before we begin, though, someone's asking. There's an eShop sale going on. Yes, there is. I'm having a hard time figuring out what games to buy. Please let me know in the chat what games I should buy, and I'll let you know later if I should get it or not.
I even wound up buying some stuff from that damn eShop sale. They're tearing the wallet.
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying the Mega Man X collection because it's like $10 for that.
You should. I got the X collection.
Nice. But yeah, so let us take this opportunity now to finally talk about the recent episode of Pokemon Journeys PM 2019. This time focusing once again on Team Rocket. Yes, that is correct, because Team Rocket in this episode had decided to go on vacation under their order from none other than their boss Giovanni. So, where did they decide to go? To the resort within the Sinnoh region. And coincidentally, Ash and Go happened to head off there as well to go and look for a particular Pokemon, otherwise known as the Lord, in this area. Now, with that being said, as this is happening, there is a conflict that's also happening with some other Rocket Gang members outside of Jesse, James, and Meowth, and it seems like they're going to be working along with Ash and Go to figure out this situation. So, how does this episode unfold? Well, that's why we're here to discuss it. So, let us get right into this review for this week's episode. And I have to say, before I go BRB for a few seconds, I just want to say, man, this was such a refreshing Team Rocket episode, only because for once we got to see them be the good guys in this one. And that ending, was so satisfying. I don't care
when they're good guys than when they're bad guys.
Yeah, like, to me, my favorite bit about this episode, I don't know if anybody felt this, but damn, seeing Matori get scolded, though, that was so satisfying to watch. You see Jesse, James, and Meow just relishing on that right there. Like, in the image that's showing off right now on the scene. Yeah, that was a satisfying moment to see in this episode. I really got a good kick from this one. So, I'll pass this on to you guys. Whoever wishes to go first, take it away. I'm going to just go BRB for just a few. So, I'll be right back, guys.
All right. So, did anyone else feel like they were watching Sun and Moon?
Yeah,
yes.
Sun and Moon episode.
Because for me, this felt like a Sun and Moon episode. It was done by Iwane, who has a very distinct art style, and a lot of
it's a solo Iwane.
Yeah, episode. And a lot of his art styles, especially Matori, like her design. It looks very, very similar to her Sun and Moon design. The only thing that was missing was the Alola Meowth, which I was a little upset about, but like not too surprised, because like it's one of those minor things that I kind of expected them to leave behind between series. So no Alola Meowth was a little bit disappointing, but other than that, it was like, man, this really did feel like a Sun and Moon episode, because I don't know if it was just like the beach or the way the characters were drawn, but it was just like this felt like a Sun and Moon episode, and I kind of enjoyed that. I like seeing how like remnants of the past series are still kind of here as well. And I also enjoyed seeing that they kind of referenced the level 100 Magikarp thing from the resort area in the games. And giving us an area that we actually hadn't seen in the anime before, being the resort area. I like that they're actually showing off places that they haven't gone to before in the Pokemon anime, which is always welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also it was really cool to see when the other Rockets actually steal Pikachu, you actually felt the moment.
Yeah,
you felt a sense of urgency. You felt a sense of urgency.
Mm-hmm. It was like the first time we were like, man, did Team Rocket just win? Like, it's not going to last, but it was still just like, man, that was...
Yeah, it makes you... Yeah, it was really impactful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially that shot. How they stayed on that shot of all those people, like...
Yeah, like they're all sad. Ash looks like he's about to cry. And
he does the fist.
Powerful moment.
Actually, this episode made me realize, like, if you subtract Jesse, James, and Meowth and use other Team Rocket members, I had to stop and remember, oh yeah, that's right, Team Rocket's evil. Fuck. That's right.
Other Team Rocket members,
No, I mean like
the
soldier ones.
I'm just bitter.
The Rocket. We actually saw the Rocket grunts in action.
Because remember,
I just remembered another reason why I thought this was like a Sun and Moon episode is because some of those guys were the same grunts from the Matori Matrix from Sun and Moon.
Yes.
Yep.
Also,
amazing how they kept that continuity. right?
Yeah.
You know,
Like, everything
amazing.
but
Unlike
everything but Alone Meowth was there,
But
which
you
is
gotta
like, man.
remember,
oh
Ash,
no, that's not
Ash is coming from a straight up win streak, and he got his ass slammed in that fight. It leads to something I have a little issue with later. But yeah, Ash got fucking whooped in that fight. I don't know why.
It was like a 4v1 versus like the best in the business.
I don't know
Also,
why
where was
the hell he
Dragonite and
chose-
Gengar?
I don't know why the hell he chose.
I
Riolu.
literally don't know why he leaves Gengar and Dragonite behind, but he takes Riolu with him. Because
Yeah,
like
why
Gengar and Riolu are like, or Gengar and Dragonite are like always at the lab for some reason. I don't get that.
I don't know why he chose.
Well,
Riolu
I
for that
mean,
fight.
well, I think it's because Dragonite probably like watches over.
Oh no,
I
he's
love that- I
become the
love this scene that's
Bulbasaur.
Well,
It was on screen a second ago, but I love where they're like at the lore shop and like they literally have Pikachu in their hands, but they're like, we can't take him because it was against the boss's orders. Like we're just here on
Yeah,
vacation.
Jesse was like, she just had Pikachu in the palm of my hands and I couldn't do nothing about it. And then
I want to rationalize it like this.
Sorry. I just
Professor
thought of
Professor Sakuragi stated that they were really only fishing. So Ash probably didn't bring Pokemon on the idea of I'm gonna be in a brawl. So
Yeah.
he only brought, because obviously next episode he has Gengar and Dragonite. They play a role in that next episode because he's fighting because he's participating in a battle. He's participating, I think, in a tournament. So he's fighting Karina too. So obviously he needs to pack in like strong Pokemon. Here they literally were just fishing. So I think he just probably lowbrowed it.
Probably, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. But there's still an issue I have, but we'll get to it when we get to there. Polly, I think you were gonna say something too, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find the episode that I think one of my favorite episodes things about this episode was also the continuity with James and the fishing, the part where he's teaching. He's like, oh my gosh, like I know all about fishing, and like because we've seen that I think from as early as Diamond and Pearl, that he
Thank you,
is
Lightning,
very
for
good at
roasting.
fishing. And that's carried all the way through. I think even Best Wishes and obviously Sun and Moon. So I thought that was a nice little touch. That's just something I picked up on as a super fan. But yeah.
I also if you look at each scene by itself, I thought the pacing of this episode was great. I mean for something that is what is kind of it's a vacation. It's a vacation thing. It has, at least it didn't have freaking fan services, and thank God. But it's like you have the different sequences. The pacing was well done. But I think the whole thing with the rockets being the serious rockets coming in and actually accomplishing something and looking like they actually were a damn threat, as opposed to I think this is like the first time we really felt a threat from the rockets, really realistically. I mean, I wouldn't even say Sun and Moon, because Sun and Moon, the problem is Sun and Moon was kind of half baked because we knew that the Ultra Guardians or some shit, we had somebody there, we know somebody that had, to take them down. But here we only had the other rockets and Satoshi and Go, and that was it.
Yeah. And there were no Mega Evolutions in this one either.
Yeah, nothing.
Technically, the odds were was still against them too. Like they had to be stealthy for that one.
Pretty much.
And even in this series, like in Sun and Moon, it feels like that the trio, Jesse, James, and Meowth, are like promoted. Like they're not the lowly grunts that they were in the past, but they still have like a long way to go.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting how Matori like kind of still looks down on them and is like, those guys cause problems for us.
Giovanni just sees them as workers. Matori sees them as like as a.
Because Giovanni used to hate those guys, and it seems like he's kind of come around to them in the last series or two, like ever since they beat Team Flare, quote unquote, beat Team Flare,
and ever since their rivals disappeared,
they died.
I'm not bitter. I'm not going to show my bitterness, at all.
Best wishes probably helps too because they were competent.
Yeah, because like they came up at the end of like Diamond and Pearl because they had like quote unquote beaten Team Galactic, and then they were like agents in Black and White, and then XY they kind of faltered a bit, but then they were like, oh, we beat Team Flare. They kind of did the same thing again, but then Sun and Moon in this series, it feels like they've kept their personality intact this time, but have still become like somewhat higher ranked agents within the organization. So they're not like complete bothers and like wastes of spaces like they were before, but they still don't really get the respect that they deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another cool detail I want to note real quick before I pass it on again. Nice references with the selection of Sinnoh Pokemon that they had in this episode.
Oh yeah, the Commanders.
The Commanders had the Team Galactic Pokemon.
Yeah.
Per Ugly.
Toxicroak.
And then what was the other one? There was
Skuntank.
Yeah, Skuntank and then Rhyperior for some reason.
I'm glad they tossed Skuntank flamethrower. I'm mad that they didn't flamethrower out of his butt though.
Yeah, and then of course there was Banuri alongside Pikachu in some scenes when they were locked in the cage.
Reference.
So yeah,
actually the Charizard behind him. I was like, God, I can't wait to see that titles with that one.
It reminds me of X, Y, and Z when they had Ash with Mega Charizard X and Ash Greninja side by side when they were chasing after this the Chespin inside the giant stone Zygarde, if anyone remembers that scene. Yeah. That's what it reminded me of. I'm like, God damn it, stop doing that shit to me. Just give me my boy back. One day we'll get him back.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
That's the perfect out of context image because people could see that and be like, "Wait, Charizard came back."
But I still find it funny that the Rockets actually sabotage their own plans, which is kind of really funny if you think about it. That means
and one.
It almost reminded me of the Lugia arc from Orange Islands, or not Orange Islands, Whirl Islands, where they had to quite literally disguise themselves as grunts and infiltrate their own organization because they weren't allowed in.
Damn.
Yeah, that's right.
So Team Rocket had to dress as Team Rocket.
Yeah, I always like that how Team Rocket they have to get back at some of the people within their own organization.
Yeah, they're not all nice and friendly with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the Me-Lads thing is also pretty hilarious.
Mm-hmm. But even the disguises, now that I look at them, even the disguises in this episode kind of look like the ones they wore in Sun and Moon. I'm telling you, this felt like a Sun and Moon episode.
And I appreciate that because it's always great to see stuff like that.
Except the faces weren't melted.
Yeah, everybody had their face cooked to the right degree.
Matori honestly looks the same to me, like from Sun and Moon.
She just has like more of a slanted
Well, I mean, no, it looks more
sharper.
Together. Like I said, it's sharper. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like slightly sharper, but it's like, man, the design other than that looks almost entirely the same as Sun and Moon. Like, I think out of all the characters, she looks the most similar.
Yeah, and James too, because his hair got all circly.
Yeah, James went back to like kind of the weird hairstyle that he had before.
Yeah, like right there in the image, he's basically like that. So yeah, I want to take a second as well before I also pass this again to just say that Team Rocket to me, I'm just happy with. I can't believe that this episode to me personally came out a lot better than I expected. I should have expected that honestly, only because Team Rocket episodes tend to always be good in my books.
Always.
Well, also because PM 2019, you don't judge a book by its cover. They make better episodes than what you think it's going to be based off the previews.
Yeah. So with that being said, the Lord though is my MVP of this episode. I'm just gonna say that right now. The Lord was the MVP. All right. Anybody else want to add to Team Rocket though?
Go now has 2 giant Pokemon when you think about it.
Yeah, and one of them just flew away. It just broke through the goddamn glass and just went away.
I wonder if it's going to be a recurring thing. Like, there's going to be the shattered glass in the lab.
You remember the thing they did back in X and Y when the hole was broken there on top of, Sycamore's lab?
Oh, yeah.
And then they had to build a second hole because of that shit.
And it became like a running joke. It's like, every time you come back, Ash, our lab just gets destroyed.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's kind of like how he did with the Kanto gems. But from what I was going to see, I don't like the redundancy of catching 2 Magikarp. Well, I guess one has to evolve into Gyarados. I want a smaller one to evolve into Gyarados. I think that'd be funny. I think it'd be funny.
It become a puny Gyarados?
Expecting the Lord to be a Magikarp itself.
What?
He also wasn't expecting the Lord itself to be a Magikarp. Like, he was just like, I'm just gonna catch this Magikarp so I get it in my decks. But then, the actual Lord came out. He's like,
and also Go actually had to fight a freaking wild Pokemon to catch it.
Yeah, because the ball actually went and slapped back.
This image you got of Jesse needs to chill out.
No, but the thing is though, KG forgot the best part, the best still shot of this episode, and that's Pikachu sneezing.
Oh no, I tried looking for that and it couldn't catch for me for some reason.
But no,
it was at the end of the episode, but I couldn't get the frame for it. I was like, shit.
Yeah, I don't like the redundancy of it though. First of all, the first Magikarp he caught, Ash is the one that pulled it up.
But Go asked permission if he could catch it.
It almost felt like the writers themselves didn't know that Go was gonna catch Magikarp. They were like, okay, what do we got? Oh, he caught Magikarp. Well, the Lord is a Magikarp. Wait, what? Wait.
I think that's a way of kind of showing off the Let's Go gimmick, which is saying that all the Pokemon can come in different shapes and sizes. So the Magikarp, the small one he got, is a small one, and then of course there's the other one, which is the Lord size itself.
Like I said, I want the smaller one to evolve. That way, it's like it's normal size thing compared to regular Magikarps. I want a normal size Gyarados that's still like just barely bigger than the
just barely. And then the Magikarp still whoops its ass because it flops.
I do still think it was for like the irony joke though, because it was like he didn't expect Magikarp to be the Lord.
Yeah,
no one did.
So he's like, I'm just catching this one just in case.
I'm a little weirded out that Go like kind of won his fight against the Team Rocket members, because it's like, okay, Go by himself with the Magikarp beat 2 grunts. Ash and Go together in an earlier scene couldn't beat. Okay, whatever. Sure.
No, but they had backup though.
Magikarp.
Fuck it. I don't know. It was weird to me.
Well, the Lord was basically the distraction anyway.
Yeah, he played the distraction, but he actually did damage to Rhyperior.
Yeah, he launched it into the air. Heavy. Yeah, how the hell do you launch a rock into the air?
Like Splash does nothing. What the fuck?
Yeah, but the weight does something apparently. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked weird to me, but I get it. I like that Go actually was more useful in this. I'm glad he didn't take a back seat to Ash completely in this episode.
Yeah. Anybody else want to add upon what was given in this episode? Just in case? Because I know I want us to move into like the bit of the preview for next week's episode. So I want to make sure we get everything across here.
I like Matori's look when she's like beat, when she's defeated.
Well, it's because the Rockets call her at like freaking early morning.
No, Matori calls dumb. And then Matori was like, wow, you guys responded relatively quickly. And then Jesse is like, oh, yes, that's because we just came back from our vacation fully recharged and ready to take on orders.
Yeah, I drained Matori. Like, I like the shirt halfway down. I like the, cheeks sucked in. Like, it's a pretty funny.
Yeah, she got scolded, sadly, off Screenland, but she still got scolded by the boss.
Honestly, I'm with Polly on this one, though. Cassidy's a better rival for Jesse.
Thank you.
Because I get what they're doing with Matori. They're making a one-up bitch. They did it before with Cassidy. Mm. But the thing with Cassidy is that Cassidy has all of Jesse's traits. She just knows more about Team Rocket. That's the difference.
But I feel that to me it works well because that's what makes this ending of the episode so satisfying.
I mean, it works for this gag, but if you want to give Jesse a rival, then just bring back Cassidy.
That's my problem. There's a lot I have to say, but I feel like I want to make a video about this in the future, like an entire video explaining kind of the overall. Sorry, not to.
No, go right ahead, Polly. Just go give your thoughts.
I really enjoyed this episode. I have the same feelings as Kevin and you all that it was much better than I expected. Like I wasn't really expecting much because I was it's already this disappointment that 2 of my favorite characters are like never, there is a Team Rocket episode, but you're not gonna. It's like the person wiggling like the meat in front of the dog, but then takes it away. You know what I mean? So that being said, I think the episode was enjoyable for it being just a single episode, but that's all there is to it. And I feel like the overarching Team Rocket plot, like even if there even is one at this point, I just feel like they've been kind of like I'm enjoying these episodes. I really do. Even in Sun and Moon, I thought they were some of the best episodes in the series, but it's more just kind of this, I wouldn't say sadness, but kind of disappointment of like not knowing if it's gonna really go anywhere, even that they seemed like a threat in this episode, but it's like, are they just a threat in this one episode, or is that going to continue on at some point? Like, is Giovanni going to do something big again? Was Best Wishes that the last hurrah, and then the earthquake messed it up? Like, Giovanni was supposed to know. He said he knew what's his name, Nanu, and then they never did anything with that. So I think it's just kind of like that's the only issue I kind of have with these episodes. It's like not really knowing the direction that it's headed. But for what it was, like, I enjoyed it.
If Team Rocket ends up becoming the main threat for this series, I genuinely would be excited if they keep the momentum that they had here, because seeing Ash get his ass whooped by grunts really tells us that Ash still has a long way to go when it comes to battling.
Team Yell, I can tell you that much.
And, you know, the thing is, like, with Motori being the one to scheme all this stuff in the background, too, this could also be a perfect opportunity to continue building upon the rivalry between her and Jessie. I know it's very iffy for some, but I feel like this is what they're going to try to do. I'm not certain on that, but I would personally prefer that direction in my book. Because I like Motori as a character. I understand we had to sacrifice somebody in order for this to happen, but I genuinely like Motori just because I feel like she is
she got fucked over with all the fucking the BW stuff. So
yeah, but thankfully Sun and Moon brought her back, and then now I don't know the direction for what's gonna happen here for PM 2019, but I hope they build upon it because this is great. I've always wanted Team Rocket to be a legitimate storyline threat for Ash and Go, or not just Ash and Go, but specifically for Ash to kind of overcome, because it was teased upon in Black and White with the battle against Giovanni, and that was it. You know, and we've known Ash has trouble with Team Rocket because, I mean, that fight against Giovanni was hard. And then now here with the grunts. And these aren't just simply grunts. These are elite grunts. These are selected by Motori herself. So you know she has a professional look when it comes to the characters the grunts that she's going to select. So clearly there is a lot that's being used here. So I hope they take the opportunity to build upon it. Especially when you realize that Sword and Shield doesn't really have a villain. It's only like 2 characters. And it's not that they're villains. It's more so that they have different ideas as to what they want to do with the region. Not necessarily more so wanting to destroy for the sake of things, you know. No, it's more so he just wants to use Eternatus to kind of create more of Dynamax and Gigantamax battles, you know.
Yeah.
So
and Eternatus is already out there in the anime universe. So.
Exactly. So clearly we can't really use them. Maybe they could be good guys in this storyline, like how Lucamine was just a good character all the way through.
I'm still sticking with my theory. Eternatus actually flew by and used its power to make Pikachu able to Gigantamax. Like, I think Pikachu was just a regular ass Pikachu until he did that.
Until Eternatus showed up.
Until I just remember something else.
Gave it the blessing, I guess. So do you think Scorbunny received the blessing then as well?
No.
Yeah, because Scorbunny was there. What do you mean Pikachu's the only one who gets it then?
Well, one, because Pikachu was the closest and you noticed him, and then you could see the electric shock coming from Pikachu. Scorbunny wasn't affected at all.
That is true. Scorbunny never grew big at all.
He just nothing happened. So it didn't happen. Nothing happened to him.
I was just thinking maybe like the little sprinkles just flew onto Scorbunny. Never.
I think they had Gigantamax Pikachu already thought out before they thought of Gigantamax Cinderace.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see as the story.
Well, it doesn't mean we're not going to see it.
Oh, we might. Obviously, Eternatus could show up again. I'm saying he affected Pikachu at that moment because I find it weird how those sequences happened at the same time.
Then again, though, the Gigantamax Pikachu was only exclusive to Let's Go if you had Let's Go. So
yeah,
Gen 1. So from a technical standpoint, yeah, but okay. I think we
gotta get to it.
Yeah, I think we are now done with our review for this week's episode. Overall, a satisfying one. Yes, it has a couple of things that were not included in it, unfortunately, but I feel like they made up for it for what they did have. And if they are, this episode will only be better if they build upon it later down the road. I
kind of wish they wasted it. They wasted Go's chance to catch more fish Pokemon,
or specifically Sinnoh Pokemon.
Yeah, he could have caught Finneon and Lumineon.
Yeah, I think they're gonna say that for later. They're gonna have something better.
They have more Sinnoh episodes coming. We know for a fact.
Nobody gives a shit about Finneon and Lumineon enough. I think he should have caught him in this they were in the Sinnoh region. I see no reason why he shouldn't have been able to get them. Like, I don't know. The running joke of him catching a bunch of Goldeen and Magikarp was funny, but it wasn't like, oh my god, this is hilarious. It was just like they only caught Magikarp.
Stop goddamn teasing me, damn it.
I wish they had just given them Finneon and Luminion. Why not? Increase the decks. Like, they keep sacrificing opportunities for jokes. Like, oh, you're not going to give him any Wurmple. You're not going to give him any Wurmple.
This is in the resort, though. What Pokemon can you actually fish out in the resort? I know you could fish out, like, level 99 Magikarps and everything.
I think it's honestly just Magikarp.
I have to find out. And I said, well, he got Goldeen. I'm saying, like, okay, oh, wow, it's so funny. He got all 3 Wurmples that evolve into Casco. Yeah, but that doesn't get Beautifly now. Like, guys, you're sacrificing potential for quick laughs, and it just bugs me.
But remember, they're going back to regions multiple times, so they're going to have enough time to do that.
In the games, you can only catch Magikarp, Goldeen, and Psyduck in the lake. I don't
trust the show well enough to hop on that opportunity.
Yeah, so the anime was actually accurate to the fucking game.
Yeah, they actually were.
Congratulations.
Why did you get Goldeen?
Because you can get it. Because John said you could just get
it. So go get it.
Oh, okay. There's something I found, but I don't know if it's intentional. I'm sorry, it has nothing to do with the Pokemon. Before we wrap this up, I just want to mention it. It's kind of it's not that important, but I thought it was a nice callback. I'm not sure if this was intentional or not, but Iwane also, I'm looking at, he was the animation director for AG 64, which was True Blue Swablu, the episode where May finds the Swablu and has to nurse it back to health. And in that episode, there's a Meowth Giovanni fantasy sequence where he's imagining Butch and Cassidy bowing down to a really angry Chibi Giovanni. And in this most recent episode, I don't know if you want to show it, Kevin, they actually have Motori bowing down in another fantasy sequence. So I don't know if Iwane maybe did that like intentionally or not, but I thought when I first watched that part, I was like,
well, I mean, the man animated both. I mean, he knows. The man knows.
Yeah.
And he remembers continuity, unlike a lot of
Iwane is the only continuity man in this goddamn.
And he's the only man that can actually do Blender on the team. So.
So nice little detail catch there. I appreciate that.
I guess one other thing, I'm just glad we got to see the Team Rocket Man cave again. I
love that
close-ups too.
Did it get updated by any chance? Were there new things in there?
I didn't notice anything.
Attention to know that.
I guess it's just the monitor where they showed Motori. Maybe it's just it.
Yeah.
All right.
I just like the.
Well, technically, it's a projector. But.
Yeah. Well, okay. Updated the projector or something. I don't know. But now let us take this opportunity. I know a lot of people, especially Tyrone, you've been patiently waiting for this one in particular. You had to wait months for this one. Originally, weeks, now had to be months.
Yeah, months and 2 episodes.
Yeah. So now, ladies and gentlemen, one of Ash's companions returns in PM 2019. In an exciting way, because the character that's returning is also going to be battling against Ash in, from what it seems, a 2v2 fight. And this is exciting. We're returning to the world of Kalos, where there is another world tournament kind of thing going on in there. And within that tournament, one companion returns, that being of Karina and her Lucario. And that, to me, is so exciting because this right here is signaling exactly what fans have been asking for many years, to bring characters back and implement them into new storylines to further flesh out not only the world, but the characters that they've had within the entire Pokemon anime series. And this is really important as well because go back to X and Y. Suddenly, that fist bump that Karina and Ash gave each other before they departed ways, when they said, let's meet again someday, and hopefully we'll battle each other then, that has much more meaning now, thanks to next week's episode. That, to me, is storytelling that I appreciate a lot. And I'm so happy to see that we're getting this with PM 2019. It's been a long time coming, but it looks like this is the start of the story that they're trying to tell. And we're beginning with Karina here.
I want to say that the Karina episode to me is the most direct continuity we've gotten. Because the Lieutenant Surge thing was really only in passing.
Like, it was a flashback.
Yeah, Bisky's?
The female trainer, was it?
Yeah, the Raichu trainer. She was mentioning Lieutenant Surge. We never see him on screen, but we do see him in a flashback, and he doesn't even look the same. He looks like he does in the games, which I get it. But here we're getting a direct reference from a previous series. We're getting a direct, like, Karina, and even the preview knows. The preview knew full well what it wanted to do at this image right here that you're showing right now, KG, where it's like, she pets Pikachu. That alone lets you know we're picking right back up from X and Y.
And it's not like they met each other for the first time like people were fearing for some reason. No, they knew each other already.
This is direct continuity. This is as direct as it gets, right down to the fact that her grandpa shows up in the episode 2 because the other Lucario has the other Mega Bracer.
Which is gray, whereas Karina's is red.
Karina's Lucario's is red. And I'm guessing Go probably was catching Pokemon in a nearby area and it wound up fighting that Lucario in the confusion. And Ash was like, wait a minute, I know you're... And then Karina shows up and it's like, Karina, you're here too! Like, it's the most direct form of continuity I've seen from one Pokemon to the next since, like, Best Wishes.
Yeah, with Claire and with some other characters.
With Claire.
Well, I mean, for some people asking if Volt is going to be played or whatever, it's still Sony music, so maybe. But the thing, though, is they probably have to pay royalties for that, and probably they won't.
Probably not. I mean...
the best that we're gonna get is Kalos remixes.
I'm saying, like I'm not shooting for the stars.
Give me the successor Karina theme song, please.
If they do, I'm gonna blow my fucking brains out of pure.
No, we're gonna have for Yadibe. It's gonna be freaking
Yuki.
It's gonna be Hayashi Kalos remixes, which we're gonna see.
Yeah, I'm saying if they do Volt, then I'm gonna go nuts. But I doubt they'll do that.
Maybe it's gonna be the same. Well, I mean, it's gonna be the same issue if they try to play like X, Y, and Z because it's like, I mean,
X, Y, and
they
Z
still have
doesn't
to
fit
pay
with Karina
Sony
and
royalty.
Ash, though.
Maybe with this long delay, he had time to compose. I mean, we have had like new tracks, like a substantial number.
Yeah, in this week's episode, there was like 4 or 5.
The only 2 songs I know have chances of coming back are Mezet Pokemon Master and Type Wild. Those are the only 2 songs I know that have like withstood the test of time.
Yeah. And I think that honestly, though, if they really want to pay homage to Kalos, if they really want to go the extra mile just to get some extra brownie points, go V-Volt. Let's hope it's not Mega V-Volt. Let's hope it's regular V-Volt.
Actually, Mega V-Volt would be appropriate because Mega V-Volt was to show off the Mega Evolution stuff, and they played it when Ash fought Karina.
Yeah, I was surprised that they used Mega V-Volt. I thought they would have used regular Volt for that fight.
No, because Mega V-Volt, even in the openings, which is misleading as fuck, because Froaky's doing the like Water Pulse Rasengan on Mega Lucario.
Yeah.
But they played Mega V-Volt during that, and yeah, so that whole arc was devoted to that half of that song. In fact, I think when Karina makes her appearance, that's when they do the Mega V-Volt thing.
Yeah, they implemented her into the storyline.
Yeah, well, that in the Diantha episode. Well, the Diantha episode came first, then they showed Mega V-Volt for Karina. Yeah. So that technically is the right song to use, but V-Volt would be fine too. Like either or. If they use it, they use it. But the odds of them using it, like TSS said, are a good like 2%.
Yeah, because the problem is they have to pay the artist.
Yeah, they have to actually go to the artist for this one.
Because it's not like it's Sony Music Entertainment. It's going to be free. No, they have to pay the artist royalty.
I mean, here's my thing. I'm really glad that
pay Yusuke.
I'm really glad that Karina is just showing up, and I'm glad they chose her out of all the gym leaders. And I'm glad that they made a battle devoted thing to Kalos because that's what Kalos' series was known for, was the battles.
Yeah.
So there's what better way than to show off a battle, and what better way than to show off one of the most iconic gym leaders to battle as well. And it does help with her growth too, because Karina was new. She was a new gym leader, and she had just got Mega Evolution when she fought Ash. Now she's had some experience under her belt.
That's what I was saying. She's not fighting as a gym leader here. She's fighting as the successor, like it's in the X and Y games.
Yeah, so we actually get to see what she's more capable of this time. And obviously, if she has to lose, then for the sake of the story, then that's fine. I just hope they don't. I hope they don't punk her out.
Okay. Judging from how I'm seeing the fight go down from the layouts we've seen so far, it seems like Karina's gonna have two Pokemon. One of them gets knocked out by Gengar, and then immediately following that, Gengar's going to get knocked down by Lucario, judging from how the preview is shaping things out. And the magazine scan highlights Dragonite versus Mega Lucario.
Gengar has a type advantage because it's immune to fighting types, so...
But, Karina, and I assume, and honestly, I think this will be a nice detail here. She learns from Ash and be like, just because you have a type advantage doesn't mean I'm not prepared for what's to come. And then she has a move dedicated to fighting against Gengar or something.
Yeah, because
she got Bone Rush and he don't have Levitate no more.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up, is because Gengar technically had two immunities. If it had Levitate, then it could stop the Bone Rush, and the Aura Spear wouldn't do anything because it's a ghost type. Force Palm, I think, was the other move that Lucario had, and that wouldn't work. What was the other move that Lucario had?
Was it Metal Sound?
Yeah, it was Metal Sound. So that would have been useless. So Ash's Gengar must not have Levitate. For the sake of
her said Power Up Punch over Force Palm, actually.
Yeah, Power Up Punch, sorry. So yeah, she did use Power Up Punch. I think what's his name had Force Palm? The other Lucario.
The grandpa's?
Her grandpa's Lucario. Because that thing he curb stomped Karina's Lucario.
Yeah, so I'm curious. I'm really curious about the direction they're taking Karina this time, because I think the only moves we see so far in this episode preview is Aura Sphere and Bone Rush.
Yeah, I don't think that Gengar has Levitate. For the sake of battle,
Ty actually says it might have Cursed Body, which makes sense.
It might have Cursed Body.
Which would explain why Gengar was doing the things it was doing, I guess.
Explains the Satoshi is cursed.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here's a couple of things I want to give not my concerns about, but just more so the way they're kind of structuring this episode, because this is only one episode. It's obviously they're going to take a couple of minutes to reintroduce everybody again, Ash with Karina and etc. for the new audience, to let them know that, it's been a returning character, I'm just hoping that this fight is longer than what I have in mind, I hope it's about the same length as how it was with the fight in Lieutenant Sergi's gym, because I think that would be a nice, well-paced, 2v2, similar to how it was with that fight with Biscus, how you pronounce her name?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it's structured like that. I hope we actually go delve into the battle side of things, because obviously the battles is what really drove X and Y to be the series that many grew to love and enjoy, from the battle aspect side of things. And I'm just hoping that the battle will be fantastic, something that fans will grow to love and remember and be like, now I should come back and watch this series. Because if they bring her back, what's to say other characters that we've seen before in the past cannot return, There are so many opportunities, so many doors that opened up thanks to Karina. I know it kind of slightly began with Lieutenant Surge, but this is just another way for them to reuse characters in new mechanics as well, because something I was discussing a little bit with Twitter folks was that I was saying, what would be really cool as a way to kind of help Ash grow as a character to prepare himself for the fight against Leon, if they use recurring characters that they've encountered before in the past to delve into the development for some of Ash's Pokemon. It would be cool to see either maybe Claire, who would also have Iris with her, to kind of develop Dragonite to become a better Dragonite Pokemon, similar to Charizard with the Charsonific Valley. And then we can have Karina come back in some episodes to help train Riolu to become a Lucario and maybe even master the power of Aura with Satoshi. Because who better to teach Aura than the one that kind of did it in the show, being of Karina.
Yeah, and I like how you know that it'll make people come back to this series because you'll know that the dub will freaking kill this in about 6 months time. We're gonna be saying, "Oh, this piece of shit like changed his music and it doesn't fit now."
No, it's gonna be nostalgic. We're gonna get that for all
Oh
time.
god, the fucking Carlos fucking
that's gonna be their nostalgic track that they're gonna play.
There's gonna be
for the
more
dub.
music continuity in the dub than in the
Oh
sub.
god.
Now, I actually, weirdly enough, because I watched Karina's fight with Ash in the dub, and I do like the voice actress they have for Karina. It's the same girl who did Amy in Sonic X, and she also does a bunch of females in Pokemon back in the day, like a bunch of them.
Well, this was during the 4Kids era, so
yeah, it was a 4Kids era. So the girl who's doing the voice, yeah, she did a lot of trainers, female trainers, usually characters of the day. So I wonder, will the English version keep that voice? I hope they do.
Because Lisa Ortiz, she's a vocal director, so
yeah, she is literally the person in charge right now. So yeah.
Oh, so yeah, she has to. Yeah, literally, because she'll be like, "Oh, I remember this about 8 years ago." Yeah, I'll do it again.
You bring that up, Tyrone. Holy shit! How long has it been since X and Y?
2012.
No,
particularly for this one.
2013. So okay, 7 years.
No, and specifically for this, it'll be 6.
Yeah, 6 here because it's been about a year or so.
Episode, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's been a long time coming. For fans who have watched this series for so long, this is so satisfying to see. And I cannot wait for what other opportunities they have for these characters later down the road. For other ones that we can continue to speculate on, whether it be returning veterans like, for example, once again, Lance coming back as well, maybe to help Ash with Dragonite. Who knows? Because they've known each other before.
They did Lance's appearance kind of stinky, so.
No, that's what I'm saying. Bring him back for another opportunity, don't you think?
Yeah, but at that point, you're just bringing him back. You ever fail and then you keep failing, hoping this exists? Yeah, it just feels like they're going to keep. If they keep doing it, it just feels like they're trying too hard now.
So, would you say Claire and Iris would be the better option then for the dragon side of things? Because I mean, isn't Iris with Claire? Or something like that, training or something with each other?
Yeah, they fought each other, I believe.
Yeah, so I hope that Iris would be there with Claire just to kind of continue on that development of Iris as a dragon trainer and whatnot. Because who better to teach dragons than the dragon gym leader herself from there? They can also use Raihan if they want to use for somebody from Galar, because it's also rivalry against Leon.
They might use Raihan too, because they're pushing the Raihan-Leon thing. So.
Yeah, so Raihan could be like, if I can't beat Leon, maybe you can, so I'll help you with your Dragonite to prepare for the fight.
Stronger,
yeah, so I would love that, as well. So we could see somebody like that come into the mix and help out Ash with Dragonite. I want to see Karina come back in future episodes as well, aside from this one. I know we haven't seen this episode yet, and I'm excited for this one, but man, I would love to see her come back just to continue to help out Riolu. That would be awesome to me to see kind of this story that's had individual events happen in their respective regions now branch out to new locations and new opportunities for them to be fleshed out even more. I mean, who in their wildest dreams actually thought Karina would come back of all characters,
Well, she's a gym leader, so
no, but I mean before Pocket Monsters 2019 was even a thing, who thought she would come back, Like before we even learned that Ash and Go were gonna be traveling across the world, no one thought that a gym leader would come out and do this kind of thing. The closest we got to it was, I think, with that one character who studied in Kalos and battled there. Mm-hmm. But that's as far as that went. But they never actually showed off her face or anything. So I'm just saying, I'm just glad that this is something that's being done.
The man with the pixelated face.
And I know this means that fans are looking forward to seeing one other thing. Only because there's one thing nobody has talked about yet. Besides referencing Karina, do you think they'll reference something else in this episode? No. I'm talking about characters from the before days.
I'm going to guess not. I'm going to guess it's more like, oh, we battled for the like I met her in Kalos.
Oh, yeah, because I think a lot of people really, because they kept bringing it up. I saw this on Twitter a bunch of times where people kept bringing up the picture. Two things. One, that picture got destroyed by Blaziken.
Only Ash has it, and the others, I think. But the other ones being Serena, Clemon, and Bonnie.
And plus, not only that, it would be at his house, and you're not going to go to his house.
Hold on, I'm going to take a trip back to Cancer real quick to show off this reference here.
and they would have to rely on a flashback in order to make it happen, which...
Honestly, they're going to do what they did with Lieutenant Surge, where they show off the
Pokemon,
battle.
Yeah, I was going to say, Pokemon Journeys. Pokemon Journeys kind of doesn't do flashbacks.
They do it, but they make sure to exclude the characters.
Yeah, they even the flashback picture they showed. I was like,
wait, they did mention that Karina did get a new picture, but once again, why would Karina still be carrying that with her? After the journey, that would seem a little weird.
Here's my thing. I like when a reference or something comes back as a callback that happens in the moment, that just happens to happen in the moment. But if you have to force it, then it feels uncomfortable. Like every person that you didn't meet a long time ago, that you suddenly meet again, you don't rush them with a bunch of stuff that happened before. You sometimes just go, oh, hey, what's up? And then you just are like, oh, what are you up to nowadays situation? They're not going to sit up there and go, remember this time when, and then it turns into a flashback episode. Really. It's probably just going to be like, hey, Karina, what's up? And Go's going to be like, you know her? And he'll be like, yeah, I I earned her badge in the Kalos region. And he'll be like, oh, she's a gym leader. And then they'll move on. People.
Because they want to go to focus on the main battle, I guess, and not waste screen time.
Focus. People don't need he doesn't need to randomly bring up Serena, Clement, and Bonnie. I mean, if we see them in the flashback, that's fine. But
the picture, I think, is a little stretching.
I don't think Ash needs to go. Remember that time me and you and Serena and Clement and Bonnie were all and
then go be like, who, and who.
It's baby steps right now. They're gonna bring back the little characters first, and then maybe sometime later down the road we'll get the characters
maybe that's what they're doing. They're just waiting for the time to bring them back.
If you bring callbacks, bring them in as nice passings, and that's it. But don't force them. When you force them, that's when the problems happen. Now, there's situations where you can set things up. Like Sun and Moon did a really good job setting it up. And when Ash, Brock, and Misty it was just them three, and they were walking Oak's Pavilion.
Mm-hmm.
And they had some flashbacks where it's like, remember all the times that we traveled? And Brock said we had some great times. And then Misty was like, well, they weren't all great. And then it showed when Ash released Charizard and stuff like that. They had that moment, but that worked well because they were in the setting for that moment. Here, Ash's main focus isn't to go back down memory lane. His focus is to compete in the battle festival.
Yeah.
So if he just happens to see somebody that he remembers from the battle festival, it's nice. And it's a good way to have a small conversation and make things a little bit more familiar. But they don't need to sit and reference every character. One of the things I always think about when everybody...
I love this comment. She has the photo, but her hand just happened to cover the X and Y companions.
Yeah.
Mike Wazowski.
Her fingers just all over there.
Yeah. You only just see their shoes, and that's as far as that goes.
I need you to bring up the picture so I can see where her fingers are. Because I'm fairly certain that Serena...
Let's Sergi do that.
Yeah, Sergi, if you're out there somewhere, you're somehow listening to the pod, do that for us, boy, man.
Yeah, but
there'd be some crazy inconsistency that
Katie, I need you to bring up. I need you to bring up the picture in the pod so I can see where the fingers would be in that situation.
Oh, I don't have the picture with me, sadly.
If I remember correctly, Serena scoots closer to Ash.
Yeah, she does. She was at the very right of the.
So Karina would have to make her.
You missed everything because it's 2 hours.
Karina would have to move her ring finger specifically near Ash, but still close and far away enough to show his face.
Or there'd be some crazy inconsistency where it's just Karina and Ash in the photo and everybody else is missing and people are like, what happened?
So also some ghost story shit.
Also, somebody in the chat was saying to answer if possibly with the events that are going to be happening here, do you think Ash would get a Mega Ring? Now, here's my response to that. He could, but not now. because there's no reason for him to earn it
No,
now.
He doesn't need it
I'm
now,
saying
yeah.
if Karina comes back later and develops Ash with Riolu, and then at that point when Riolu evolves into a Lucario, then from there they could probably have like a successor battle to kind of play along with the successor Karina theming to it, and then build upon that. And if Ash successfully wins that fight, then you can give him the Mega Ring.
My only thing this is me. This is the most optimistic you'll ever hear me sound. So get ready for it. Karina's grandpa sees Ash and Karina fight and sees how much they both grown because he watched the gym battle itself, right? So he's watching it. He gives Ash the Lucario Knight, not the Keystone. The Lucario Knight.
That's what I was thinking, is that he gets like Lucario Knight as like a consolation prize. But like they're not gonna dwell on Mega Evolutions if it's not the big thing anymore.
Give Riolu this. And then Riolu will put it in a little pocket in like Hammer Space. You know where Pokemon and animals, like when they put something in their pocket, air quote.
Or they could have like a nice little necklace charm thing on.
Yeah, like a nice little necklet or a bracelet charm or something. Do that. Start off with that.
Mm-hmm.
Then when we do more Kalos episodes, Ash can get his Keystone. Then we can get Mega Lucario.
Because if I recall correctly, they weren't easy to get, the Keystones.
They weren't. Yeah, they weren't. So
literally at the end of the series of X, Y, and Z, Alon had to go and find one. So
I feel like that would be the best move, is to give, Karina...
They're just giving away a Keystone, Alon enters the tournament.
Yeah,
shit, now I gotta get that Keystone. Where is Alon in all of this anyway?
Karina's grandpa gives Ash the Lucario Knight because he's like, Lucario and I are going on in years. We won't be battling as much as you guys, and I see you guys are growing up. You and Karina are both growing up. Give Riolu this.
Oh wait, no, he doesn't just give that. He also gives the bracelet thing that's attached to the Lucario and passes it on to him. It's like when you get big enough to become the Lucario, then you can equip it right here in your arm.
Yeah.
Like, that way he can, like, maybe for, Karina's is what was it, blue or red?
It's red.
It was red. And then there's, obviously the grandfather who has the gray one. Ash always being the symbol of blue, give him the blue one.
Yeah.
But it'll be like he can't equip it yet because he's not big enough to wear it.
Riolu can't fit it.
Exactly.
So that would actually make it a lot easier for the artist to just say, oh, Riolu left it back at the lab.
Exactly, similar to what they did with not the bracelet, but the whatever the Dynamax thingy Mabob is over there at the lab. He's not taking it with him all the time.
Yeah, the Z ring.
The wristband, whatever it's called.
The Dynamax band. Yeah, that. And then when he evolves in Lucario, like they head off one time, and Lucario looks back at the bracelet and then takes it with them, and then he gets in a bind, and then he puts it on, then they use it.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's as far as we can say in regards to like recurring characters, gimmicks, and concepts that they could totally use with the series if they wish to sort of bring these characters back later down the road. With that being said, I have a perfect representation right now as to how fans would feel if they have that particular scene where her hand completely covers up all of the X and Y companions. Right here. There you go. That's my take on how fans are going to feel when they actually see that she doesn't return. But yeah, so that's my whole jab at that. And hopefully people will enjoy this upcoming episode when it drops, man. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And I can't wait to see what more shenanigans they have in store for PM 2019 later down the road. So, let's not shove everything right away in this upcoming episode. Let's take things small steps at a time, because if they do things now, then they won't be able to save it for later down the road. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to make the storyline be spread out so that everyone can enjoy it from beginning to end. Otherwise, we'll get a Best Wishes Season 2, and we don't want that now, do we? So, yeah.
Not at all.
No, nope. So, now, with that being said, let's go and wrap things up for tonight. What do you guys say?
Let's go.
Sounds good.
All right, then, everybody, thank you guys so much for being with us here tonight. We hope you guys enjoyed our session for tonight. I want to thank everybody here in the call who has joined me for this session. JPRPT98, Polly, otherwise known as Age of Trades here on Twitch, and on Twitter, TSS Killer, and Tyrone the God 3. Once again, thank you guys so much for being here for tonight's session. Thank you guys in the community within the chat for being with us here. I still need to figure out what the heck I want to call you guys because I have no idea what to call you guys. I know we called the mother honkers before, but for a fact that ain't gonna happen.
The problem is honkers makes no sense in the PokePod.
No, it does not. But it makes sense with the goose community, but we don't have that one yet. The honkers will live on somewhere.
Me lads.
The Poke lads or pod lads, however you want to call them. We'll find something later down the road. If you guys got any suggestions for what you'd like to be called, you can always let us know on our Twitter. Everybody's Twitter and things should be in the description down below within the friend segment, so make sure to go and check them out if you haven't yet. Make sure to follow us here on Twitch if you have yet to follow us, and if you'd love to, make sure to subscribe as well to help the channel out in any way, shape, and form. So thank you guys so much for being with us here, and we will be talking with all of you guys later, actually really soon, because the DLC is going to be coming on Wednesday, and you know for a fact we're going to be skipping Emerald for that session to go into the world of Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I got to prepare myself.
Yeah, Delta Emerald, the ROM hack.
Yeah. So look forward to the Isle of Armor, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, everybody, my name is KG Prestige. Thank you guys so much for being with us here tonight, and we will talk with all of you guys later in whatever video we make. Take care, and as always, have an awesome day.
Bye-bye.
Galar Gym theme should have been in the fucking dub.